Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the 2019 to 2020 Jupiter in Capricorn transit. Um, Jupiter will enter Capricorn on December 2nd, 2019, and will traverse the sign until December 19, 2020. This could be a time where many may experience greater prosperity in business, their career in general. This could be about a strong expansion, proliferation of structures, businesses, truth about the government more that might be unveiled at this time, politics, anything Capricorn related, accountants, business, dermatologist, even teeth in some cases. Um, this is going to be a timing when you're talking about this transit. This could affect all collectively, but especially those that have a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, and especially if it conjuncts those points at when it does conjunct those points at the time of the transit. Now, the sun, of course, people with sun in Capricorn, this could be very auspicious for life, longevity, one's vitality. And I mean, but the thing about it is, if it hits like one's ascendant, though it might be very good for the physical body overall, it could also be something where this could be really, I mean, remember that Jupiter can also have a propensity to enlarge, so it could also be a time for weight gain. You could be eating, due to eating very traditional food, since we're talking about Capricorn energy, foods that are very orthodox, things that have been tried and true, nothing really overly unorthodox or unconventional. Now, if it hits one's Capricorn moon, so I've talked about before, because Jupiter can be paradoxical, it could be very strongly enlarged. I mean, it's very benign and benevolent, but it could also have the tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this could enlarge and expand the stomach. In some cases, there could be a little propensity to gain weight as well, in addition to the Jupiter hitting one's Capricorn ascendant. But it could also enlarge melancholy feelings at this time, despondent feelings, given that some people with the moon in Capricorn can have, as far as the feelings go, the emotions, very sad, despondent energy, but at the same time, one may be a little bit more jocular at this time and jovial due to this transit, as opposed to the general energy of the moon in Capricorn without Jupiter hitting it. So it can actually have some positive to this. Now, it could also be, and again, if the transit Jupiter is making a conjunction to one's sun in Capricorn, it could give added creative energy to something Capricorn related, such as matters with business at this time. And you're talking about Jupiter is also about it could be about publishing. I see Jupiter could be connected with advertising. If it's hitting one's Capricorn sun at this time, it could give very good creative energy to advertising and business. If somebody is involved in that, it could be very propitious and very positive for that. Now, this could be a very, and again, going back to the fact that Jupiter can be very paradoxical, being very strongly benign and benevolent, but could have the tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this transit may enlarge and expand certain restrictions, limitations, inhibitions, even melancholia, if you will, or very strong depression, and also delays, despondency, and pessimism. Also, enlarge and expand, perhaps working within the parameters, having to do things that people in authority want. It could be very good for people in authority, though, people that are managers or landlords or people that are over others at this time. It could be also a time where you might feel an enlargement of coldness and callousness from others at this time. It could be a time where it could expand, people leaving you out in the cold, figuratively speaking, but also about laborious, hard efforts at this time. This could be about getting success and prosperity through working hard, working for protracted periods. And this could also be a very auspicious period for people that are in Capricorn fields. It could be doing people that are accountants, that are dentists, that are politicians, businessmen, people that are in timekeeping. It could be carpenters, people even in information technology, computer programming. I mean, Capricorn can be a little bit like Virgo as far as the details. Anything that requires patience, like computer programming, something that requires a certain attention to detail. Business analysts, it could be very positive for architects, people that are in government work, general mundane work, and especially if this were to fall in one's second, sixth, or 10th house in one's natal chart. I see these as the pretty much, I mean, they're the career and money houses in astrology. Now, the thing about this as well, I mean, it's going to, like, say if there's going to be a timing when, I want to say if this falls in one's first or sixth house, I want to talk about this as an example as far as health goes. It could actually expand Capricorn physical health related matters, such as something with the bones, the knees, the joints, the hamstrings, matters with the skin, or in the teeth even perhaps. And if you're having, especially hitting like conjunct Saturn in your chart, it can be something where you might be dealing with some kind of bone issues or degeneration or deterioration at this time, because Saturn is about limitation and matters of teeth degeneration. I mean, this could happen, I believe, with the transit without hitting Saturn, but Saturn is about limitations and can be about difficulty. So if this is actually hitting your Saturn, and especially if it's hitting in your first or your sixth house in your natal chart, this could really increase that propensity for that, I believe. Now, the thing about this too is that this could be a time as well. I mean, it's also important. I mean, speaking of houses, it is important to look at the house it falls in one's natal chart, as this could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, mine is going to fall in my ninth house for the majority of the period, in the eighth house for a little bit. Now, when it's in that ninth house, it could be a time for me where it could be very positive, perhaps for very premeditative, methodical planning in terms of maybe something with long distance traveling, publishing, higher education, even very consistent global communications at this time. It could also, in looking at this as well, it's also important to look at the aspects this makes to points in your chart, as this could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, this is going to oppose my Mercury basically right at the outset, at the beginning point of this transit. Now, given that you're talking about Jupiter in Capricorn in the 8th house, going to make an opposition to my Mercury, my natal Mercury in Cancer in the 2nd house in my natal chart. Now, given talking first about the transit Jupiter in Capricorn in the 8th, this could be about dealing with very intransigent, even very limited philosophies regarding about astrology, occult matters from others, perhaps going to be making an opposition to my Mercury in Cancer, and it could cause certain upsetment at this time due to this adversarial energy, and it might really, and I just have to hope that this doesn't affect my self-worth and self-esteem and how I feel about myself, given that it's going to oppose that Mercury in Cancer in my 2nd house, and it might be tied into my past learnings in connection with that, where others are not really, these people that have their philosophies, their limited philosophies on these matters may disagree with this, because it's going to be in opposition to that Mercury in Cancer in my natal Mercury in Cancer in my 2nd house. Now, what I wanted to talk about is there's going to be a very critical point at this within the first month of this transit, as far as the Jupiter and Capricorn transit goes. There's going to be the solar eclipse, as many of you may know, on December 26, 2019. You're going to have a conjunction with the Sun and the Moon in Capricorn at this time with this Jupiter in transit, Jupiter in Capricorn transit. Now, this could actually give added luck and prosperity in something and starting something Capricorn related, such as business administration, some position of authority, management, professional organizer. Capricorn can be about organization, computer programming, financial planner. It could just be about a career in general, but it may be something even more Capricorn related. If you're already in if this is a time where you might already be set in some career, this could be a time where it might really take off at this time. It might be like a new beginning of more prosperity for it, but this could be, again, very auspicious for something Capricorn related, and it could even be something with government work or business work or working with teeth, dentistry, dermatology. Again, anything that could be associated with Capricorn at this time, something with business or politics as well. So anyway, now another thing that I wanted to get at as far as this transit goes, another critical point, an important point of this transit is going to be at this time when it's going to hit the South Node, make the conjunction to the South Node on January 8, 2020, and it will be separating it, making a separating conjunction aspect shortly after it makes the exact conjunction aspect to it. Now, this is a time you figure, well, how is this really auspicious? Well, when you're talking about transits involving the South Node in astrology, it can indicate where we're leaving something, where we're separating ourselves from. This could be moving past a very limiting, orthodox, overly conventional philosophy or religion for many, because you're dealing with the separating conjunction, and or maybe even a very inhibiting or restricting belief at this time. It might be some limitation or fear or something that was involved with foreign travel, might be a pessimistic mindset or very depressing philosophy at this time. It might be a time where it could be a time where one might have been somewhat inhibited in taking that long distance journey, or even expanding one's horizons due to overly pessimistic outlook. It's time now where they can leave that behind and actually move forward. So those are some things I wanted to get at as far as this Jupiter in Capricorn 2019-2020 transit part 1 goes. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for part 1 of my take on the Jupiter and Capricorn transit from 2019 to 2020. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about part 2 of the 2019 to 2020 Jupiter and Capricorn transit. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.